Hey, what's going on, friends? My name is John Waldman. I'm a filmmaker based in New York, and today I want to talk about my FX6 rig. I've made a few updates to my rig, and a couple of these things have really made my life shooting a lot easier, and I wanted to share them with you guys just as kind of a follow-up to my previous video, which I'll link above. So let's just get right into it. We'll also say it's weird standing, talking. I feel like it's a lot more pressure. First piece would be right here, the top handle extension from Condor Blue. One of my gripes with this camera is the top handle, not because that's the only audio point that you have, but I don't know, I always wanted something that's a little more rugged and then also something with a lot more mounting points. This top handle extension cures all the problems that I had with the top handle, so I'll kind of just walk you through this. So what I love is it's a Nato rail, and that could be attached, you could use that with any of your Nato rail accessories, which yes, we'll get to this later. There's a lot more mounting points, quarter 20, 3/4, what is this, RE rosette, there's a little hot shoe, there's even a little spot for 15 mil rods in the back. Anyways, this adds a lot more versatility to the top handle. It also makes it a little more rugged. I don't know about your copies, but I feel like whenever, you could see my top handle, you can't see it now, but it has been beaten up, and sometimes I almost feel like I could see it Anyways, I do feel like this adds a layer of protection. So between it making the grip stronger, makes it bigger, gives it more mounting points, I really love this product a lot, and it is never coming off my camera. This still works great with the Easy Rig having this. It clamps right here. No issues with balance, no issues clamping. Oh yeah. I like how that lighting looks right there. So then moving on to this, I love a ball swivel mount. It's just, I think, the most versatile way to kind of move your stuff around quickly. I've done the Cine arms and other stuff, but the two ball head is always what I like to land on. And so what's cool about this one, it has Nato on each side. So at the bottom, this is a Nato clamp. So you could just, move this guy as you wish. And then at the top, it's also Nato. So, let's get to that. So, before we get to the monitor, I put a little Nato rail on here and I did it sideways. This way it doesn't mess up any of the ports on the side. And also, after a few times of putting in my arm, I'm I feel like I'm scratching this up, and this is an expensive monitor, which then let's get to that. But look at this, Nato, boom, boom, in, done. And I love using this Nato rail on here because you're not putting stress on the monitor's mounting point. This is just a super sleek workflow that works really nicely. Small HD Ultra 5. This is my new monitor of choice. I've been a small HD supporter for a very long time, and I'm excited. This is pretty much my dream monitor. There's a ton of stuff I love about it. I still use my small HD 502. It's actually on the FX3 right now. Over time, that's an amazing monitor, but I think it's only 400 nits of brightness, which is not very bright at all. The number one selling feature for me on this monitor is the brightness. 3,000 nits of brightness, which is insane. Over the summer, I was doing some gigs where I was outside and it was so bright, and you have the cheap little sun hood you could pop in. It was not working for me. When you are outside filming in the direct, above head noon sun daylight, you need a brighter monitor, and that's where this guy comes into play. I was shooting stuff, out in the Hamptons over the summer. I was down in Dallas. Bright sunny days, and now just having this guy outside is a complete game changer for me. As I explore this monitor more, maybe I'll make a video about it too, so stay tuned for that. There's tons of ins and outs. You have SDI in out and SDI out, two HDMIs. I power it via this D-Tap to Limo cable, and then I'm a big right-angled SDI guy, so that's all I do. I didn't want to get the V-mount battery plate for this since I power everything through here. If I was rigging it in a different way, maybe at some point I will. For now, it's great. I also love this sun hood. It's really cool. I like it a lot more than the sun hood that I had for the 502. It's super smart. So there's these little holes. Literally all you do is 1, 2, you screw it in, and bam. It's super, super clean. Look at that. That was so easy to put on and off. That is definitely the sleekest sun hood I've ever seen. So if you get this monitor, you should absolutely get this. And then on that note, everything that I'm discussing in this video, I will leave links below if you want to check some of these items out yourself. So again, I haven't dived too deep into this. There's a lot of modularity that comes with this monitor. You know, you could get licenses to control red cameras. I think you could also upgrade and add some stuff for it to interplay with Teradek systems. Anyways, I kind of love that. So maybe, you know, this could be a piece that I grow into maybe when I work into different camera systems. And then another thing I really love, there's a really cool feature for monitoring your exposure. It's called EL zone. It's in your false color, but basically it kind of shows your like different stops where things are over and underexposed in the middle with middle gray. The EL zone is really dope. I want to dive deeper in it, but it is like the dopest false color, you know, exposure tool I've ever used. I got a screen protector on here. It was like 30 bucks or whatever. I made the mistake of not putting that on my 502. Safe to say I got a scratch on like the first day and I was so freaking pissed. So get a screen protector on here. It's an expensive monitor. All right, so let's move on to more of the front of the camera. As you could first see here is the wooden camera zip focus. I pulled trigger. This thing is smooth as butter. There will be a video coming out about this, kind of a review. This manual follow focus is awesome. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a little expensive for what it is. I'm not gonna dive too deep into it, but it was a much needed upgrade for me. The small rig one that I had, it was just too small. I don't know, I just feel like this is like an industry standard manual follow focus. So I went with this. I have absolutely no regrets. It works great with my manual focus lenses. Continuing on, let's talk about the matte box. So I went with the small rig mini matte box light. Full disclosure, I could tell this will not be the last matte box that I purchased. You know, you want to get a matte box for, you know, controlling flaring, and especially with some of the vintage lenses I use, they're pretty gnarly, so that helps. I thought this was a good option for me because in the front, you probably can't see. Basically how this works is you put these step-up rings onto your lens, which goes to 95 millimeters, and then you clamp the matte box on. But what's cool with those step-up rings is you could still thread in your filters. So I have 82 millimeter filters, and if I wanted to do some filter stacking with, you know, some of the filters that I already own, I could put a circular one in there and then add, you know, one out here. So you could add in one, you know, 4 by, was it 5.65 inch filter. Say you could stack one filter in. It works for me. It's not necessarily my favorite. I think it's like, you know, it's cheap, but for the money, I think it's great. It's just, you know, pulling the filters in and out. It's like, I guess that was pretty easy, but I have a hard time doing that. It's, you know. I don't know, I think it's a little cheaply made, but for what it is and the cost and kind of that versatility, I do like it. I guess a little overtime bonus. In here, I have a Prism Lens Effects Dream Effects filter, I think it is. Basically, it's just one of their sauce of Pro Mist or, you know, a mist filter. I primarily use Schneider Hollywood Black Magic. I have it in 1/8 and 1/4. This, I actually really like this mist filter a lot. It's kind of crazy. It's such a spectrum of like so many different flavors. Anyways, I am a fan of that. And then yeah, I also got some new sticks. I went with the, I guess if we're just gonna keep on talking the way down, the Sackler Flowtech with the ace head. Not like the fancier new one that was out of stock. This was like last minute. I walked into B&H and because I had to get a teleprompter. Anyways, my old tripod not great, and I saw this and I'm like, well, you know what? I do need a new tripod, and this thing is a fucking tank. Check this shit out. Well, you can see what I mean. So another piece of gear. I'm just giving you all this new stuff that I bought. This like Sony hot shoe mic. This thing goes right here. It's just like a great extra source of audio as needed. I mostly use it on the FX6, but sometimes I'll use it as a backup source. You can never have too many backups, and I love that this is a hot shoe mic. By the time this is released, I bet you one of the previous videos will be about this mic, so I will also link that above. All right, guys, so that's about it for... No. All right, guys, that's about it for today. I hope this video was helpful in some way. You know, these updates that I made have brought value to my rig. They make my workflow a lot easier. Some things are just, you know, it's making my life simpler, or it's just an upgrade, or it's, you know, it was just something I didn't have. Hopefully this video brought you some sort of value. I like doing these videos, they're fun. What accessories are you guys using? Do you think there's anything I could add to this rig that I don't have? Anything you think that would be a good addition? Or do you have, you know, something different than what I have? stuff. I always like to learn and, you know, hear what people are using because, you know, it's fun to learn. I love nerding out about gear. But yeah, that's about it. That's a cheers. Color coding my my coffee mug to my shirt. Oh, my other sign off. Bye.